Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football recap show. Even though it's a day late, but I'm going to recap this Monday night game, and boy, it was a doozy. And it was mainly all Packers in this one. They had it from the after the 3-3 tie or early in the first quarter. They had it all. We'll discuss that in a minute, and we'll talk about it. But first, here's today's Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football Week 15 trivia question. Uh, Who was nicknamed Muley? I will have the answer later in the podcast. Uh, the Green Bay Packers remain in the playoff hunt and keep their playoff hopes alive with a 24-12 win over the Los Angeles Rams Monday night at legendary Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Uh, Aaron Rodgers found a groove, leaning on Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon backfield combo, and the Packers get the win and keep their playoff hopes alive and in the NFC wild card race in the process. Uh, uh, Matt LaFleur's uh, offense uh, wasn't necessarily uh, offense wasn't necessarily back on track in front of the home crowd, and Rodgers threw an ugly, deep ball pick to Taylor Rapp, and Jones lost a fumble in the second half that could have rejuvenated the Rams' chances. But A-Rod also showcased uh, signature zip while feeding rookie receivers Christian Watson and Romeo Dubs down the stretch, and both Jones and Dillon found success close to the end zone, combining for more than 120 yards and three total scores in the win. While for the Rams, with the loss, fell to 4-10, and their playoff hopes are pretty much gone. The Rams offense failed to deliver once more. Baker Mayfield showed fight working with a makeshift supporting cast, but the accuracy and deep ball touch that underscored his heroic Rams debut was mostly missing this time out. Baker Mayfield struggled uh, with his backfield defense, and he struggled with the throws all night. And uh, as the ex-Browns and Panthers starter flirted with a couple of pick sixes and ended up completing only half his throws. It didn't help that no one got separated out wide with Cam Akers headlining the pass catchers deep into the fourth, and Matt Gay had a 55-yard touchdown just before halftime, and the Rams had a 10-3 had but they did had a they had a I think it was tied at 10 at halftime or a third. No, it was tied at 10 at halftime, but the Rams never led in this game once. They never did. Uh, and excuse me. Uh, and The vaunted defense, meanwhile, fell victim to a handful of big plays despite a strong early early showing. And so, boy, this was just not a good night for the Rams. But the play of the game, you got to give it to uh, Packers' A.J. Dillon, whose first TD broke an early 3-3 tie and set the tone for smash mouth cold weather football. And ain't that the truth? Uh, and I got to tell you, now I'm gonna give you the headlines, the headline highlight of the game, and and the Packers just really had this one in hand. Uh, First quarter, the Rams had to punt after going 3 and out, 7 plays for 20 yards, and then the Packers got into field goal range, and it was at 4th and 16 at the Rams 16. Uh, Crosby's 34-yard field goal was good, and it was 3-0 Packers. Then the Rams had to punt again after going 3 and out, 3 plays and -1 yard. Then the Packers had an interception. It was 1st and 10 at the Rams 44. Aaron Rodgers passed deep left intended for Alan Lazard, excuse me, intercepted by Taylor Rapp at the Rams 14 to the Rams 32 for 18 yards, and then the Rams got the ball back, and then the Rams got into field goal range, and it was 4th and 7 at the Green Bay 15. Matt Gay's 33-yard field goal attempt was good, and it was a 3-3 tie at the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, the Packers scored their first touchdown of the game, and it was A.J. Dillon up the middle for an 8-yard touchdown, and Crosby's extra point was good, and it was 10-3 Packers in the second quarter. Then the Packers got into field goal range, and it was Matt Gay's 55-yard field goal attempt is good, and it was 10-6 Packers. And just for the half, and it was Matt Gay kicked 61 yards from the LA 35 to the Green Bay 4, and there was a penalty on that, but on Green Bay it was -10 yards, and then uh, it was Aaron Jones up the middle to the Green Bay for 19 for 6 yards. For a 6-yard gain, it was the 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 13. Then it was 2nd and 4 at the Green Bay 19. Aaron Rodgers passed short middle to Aaron Jones, pushed out of bounds to the Green Bay 44 for 25 yards. 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 44. Aaron Rodgers passed incomplete, short middle to I think it was Rob Tonyan for the, Tonyan for the, it was Robert Ray Tonyan. And let me see if I can get a name. Just hold on a minute. Uh, uh, Robert Tonyan. It was Rob Tonyan. Uh, and it was to Rob Tonyan. And it was that for no gain. And Aaron Rodgers sacked at the Green Bay 40 for -4 yards. It was 2nd and 10 at Green Bay 44 for no gain. And it was 10-6 Green Bay at halftime. Then in the third quarter, the Packers scored their second touchdown of the game. And it was A.J. Dillon, right tackle for the 1-yard touchdown. Crosby's extra point is good, and it was 17-6 Green Bay. And then the Rams had the punt after going 3 and out, 3 plays and no yards. Then the Packers scored their third touchdown of the game. Was Aaron Rodgers pass short left to Aaron Jones for the 7-yard touchdown. Crosby's extra point is good, and it was 24-6 Green Bay. And then the Rams scored their first and only touchdown of the game, and it was Baker Mayfield's pass short left to P. Higbee for a 8-yard touchdown. Matt Gay's extra point was no good. It went wide right. It was 24-12. And then the Packers had the point. They're going 4 plays, going 3 and out, 4 plays, 5 yards. It was 24-12 Green Bay at the end of the third quarter. Into the fourth quarter we go. It was a third and 13 at the LA 10. Baker Mayfield's pass deep right intended for uh, Brian Skowronek, excuse me, intercepted by was Douglas. Rob, I think it was R. Douglas. It was either Rob. I think it's Rob Douglas at the LA Rams 33 to the Rams 22 for 11 yards. Fumble recovered by Green Bay's Aaron Amos at the or Adam Amos, excuse me, at the LA 33 to the Rams 24 for -1 yard, and then the Green Bay Packers had a fumble. They had a fumble. That's what they had. Aaron Jones right tackle to the Rams, 18 for 13 yards. Jalen Ramsey and Tyler Rapp fumbles, and it was recovered by the Rams by Jalen Ramsey at the Rams 18 to the Rams 30 for 12 yards. Robert Tanya, there was a penalty on Green Bay's Nijman, face mask decline penalty on LA. It was Gaines unnecessary roughness for -15 yards, and that was enforced at the LA 30. And the Rams had to go 3 and out after 4 plays and 39 yards, and then basically there were only a few plays. Aaron Jones, 1st and 10. Aaron Jones left at the it was Green Bay 14. Aaron Jones left end to the Green Bay 23 for 9 yards. 2nd and 1 at the Green Bay 33. Taylor up the middle to the Green Bay for 28 for 5 yards. 1st and 10 at the Green Bay 28. Aaron Rodgers passed short middle to uh, Romeo Dubs for the 23-yard gain for 23 yards. 1st and 10. Taylor up the middle to the LA 43 for 6 yards, and it was at the LA 49. 2nd and 4 at the LA Rams 43. Taylor right tackle to the LA Rams 40 for 3 yards. And 3rd and 1 at the LA Rams 40. Aaron Rodgers passed short left to see Watson pushed out of bounds for 27 yards. And Aaron Jones was a 2nd and 9 at the Rams 26. Aaron Jones right end to the Rams 12 for 14 yards. And then Aaron Rodgers 1st and 10 Rams at the Rams 12. Aaron Rodgers passed short left to Romeo Dubs to the LA 12 for no gain. 2nd and 10 at the Rams 12. Aaron Rodgers passed short left to Christian Watson to the Rams 4 for 8 yards. 3rd and goal at the LA 4, and Aaron Rodgers passed a complete short right to Christian Watson. And then the last all Aaron Rodgers had to do was kneel the last 4 times, and nonetheless, the Packers win by the final score of 24-12. And let me give you the answer to today's question. I'll give the game balls out in a second here. Who was nicknamed Muley? If you said Merlin Olsen, you are correct. Merlin Olsen was a #1 draft pick of the Rams in 1962. Olsen went to 14 straight Pro Bowls. This Hall of Fame defensive tackle was a member, of the legendary Fearsome Foursome. I'll have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. Aaron Rodgers gets a game ball. Shoot. Aaron Rodgers gets a game ball, and And he had 22 of 30 carries and attempts, 129 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Aaron Jones, he gets a game ball, 17 attempts, 90 yards on the receiving end, on the rushing end, 4 receptions, 36 yards, 1 touchdown. And so this was one of those games where anything could have had, but the Green Bay Packers had it from after the 3-3 tie from the get-go. They had it in hand. That's going to wrap it. We've got some great football coming up this weekend. Thursday, we'll kick it off. Thursday Night Football, Jacksonville and New England. Hopefully, you get a pregame and postgame show from me. And I'll have my Christmas Day. I'll be do Christmas Eve as well for the other games. And you'll have a Christmas Day podcast. If you don't get one Christmas Eve, you'll get recaps Christmas Day, and I'll preview the other 3 games. And the Browns have the Saints this week on Saturday at 1 at First Energy Stadium. And Sunday Night Football, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Arizona Cardinals at State Farm Stadium. And next Monday night, the LA Chargers at the Indianapolis Colts. That's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 Monday Night Football recap show. I'll be back Thursday for Thursday Night Football. Till then, always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.